a silent alarm, a deserted street, a life hanging by a thread. In Season 8, Episode 3 of Hudson and Rex, danger does not come from the shadows. It walks straight through the front door, and this time, Sarah and Rex may not make it out alive. Asterisk, the episode opens with a chilling calm, the kind that makes you feel something terrible is about to happen. Sarah is alone in the forensics lab, working late. The building is empty, silent, and covered in shadows cast by the flickering ceiling lights. Outside, the fog settles in over St. John's like a warning. Sarah glances at the time and sighs, unaware that someone is already watching her. Suddenly, her phone buzzes. A message. No name. Just for words, "You should not be here." Her heart skips, but she tries to brush it off. Maybe a prank, maybe a glitch. But then another message follows. Leave now or pay. Sarah stands still, her instincts kicking in. Something is wrong. She tries calling Hudson, but the line doesn't connect. She tries again, no signal. The building's network has been disabled. She is cut off. At the same time across town, Hudson and Rex are finishing a long day. Rex is restless, pulling at his leash, ears alert, eyes locked on the dark horizon, as if he senses something wrong. Hudson frowns. What is it, boy? Rex lets out a low growl, something he rarely does unless danger is close. Hudson glances at his phone and sees a missed call from Sarah back at the lab. Sarah decides to pack up and leave, but the moment she steps into the hallway, the power goes out. The hallway sinks into darkness. Emergency lights glow in red. The air feels heavy, like someone is holding their breath. Sarah hears a sound, soft footsteps from the far corridor. She isn't alone. She retreats back into the lab and locks the door. Her hands shake, but her voice stays calm as she speaks into the silence. Who's there? No answer. A shadow passes outside the glass window. A tall figure in black stands just outside the door. Sarah slowly reaches for a metal lab, too many things she can use to defend herself. Whoever this is, they are not here by accident. Meanwhile, Hudson feels his gut tighten. He knows Sarah would never try to reach him unless something was wrong. He jumps into his car with Rex in the passenger seat. Rex whines anxiously, tapping his paw against the door. Hudson speeds through the quiet streets, unaware that Sarah is already trapped. Back in the lab, the figure outside begins typing on a keypad connected to the door. Sarah realizes the intruder is overriding the lock. She backs away, searching for a way out, but every exit is sealed. The red emergency lights pulse like a countdown. She glances at the only option left, the ventilation shaft above the workbench. She climbs up, pushing the metal grate open just as the lab door unlocks. The intruder steps inside, moving with slow, cold intent. Sarah holds her breath, crawling into the narrow vent as the stranger scans the room, searching. He knows she is here, and as Sarah slips deeper into the ventilation tunnel, one thought freezes her blood. This was not random. Someone wanted her alone, and they planned every second of this. Asterisk, Sarah moves through the narrow vent, trying to stay calm, but every sound echoes around her. Metal creaks beneath her weight. Her breath fogs in the cold air. She forces herself forward, even though her knees are shaking. Behind her, the stranger now searches the lab, quietly, methodically. This is not a random break-in. This is a hunt, and she is the target. As she crawls, she notices scratch marks along the inside of the metal shaft. At first, they seem like damage from installation, but then she sees something carved deeper. Then a word, help. Her heart locks up. Someone had been here before, and it did not end well. Suddenly, a clang echoes behind her. Sarah freezes. Something struck the vent. She turns slowly and sees a gloved hand reaching into the shaft from the lab entrance. The intruder found her escape route. Sarah does the only thing she can, moves faster. She pushes forward, ignoring the cuts forming on her hands and arms from sharp metal edges. The vent vibrates again. He is crawling in after her. Outside, Hudson's car races through town as sirens wail in the distance. He calls the station. Still no answer from Sarah. He tries again. Nothing. Then he notices something strange. The traffic lights along the route are out. Street by street, power seems to be dying. Rex paces in the seat, barking sharply at every turn, urging Hudson to move faster. "Hold on, Sarah," Hudson mutters, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Back inside the building, Sarah reaches a junction point in the ventilation network. There are 3 directions to choose from. She has no map, no way to tell where each one leads. Behind her, the intruder is closing in. She listens. One path carries the faint sound of humming machinery. Another smells of chemicals. The third carries a distant drip of water. She shuts her eyes, trusting her instincts, and takes the path toward the water. The air grows colder as she crawls. Her knees ache, but adrenaline keeps her moving. She hears the intruder pause behind her. He is listening, choosing his path too. She knows she cannot outrun him forever. She needs an advantage. And fast, at last, she reaches a grated vent that overlooks a dark maintenance room. Heavy pipes line the walls, each dripping slow streams of water onto the concrete floor. She pushes at the grate, but it resists. Rust seals it in place. Panic claws at her chest. She kicks harder once, twice, then it gives way and crashes to the floor below. The moment she drops down, her foot slips on the wet floor. She lands hard, pain shooting up her side, but she doesn't stop. She scrambles to her feet just as the metal vent behind her groans. He is coming. She spots a toolbox near the wall and grabs the first heavy object she can, a large wrench. It is cold, solid, and real. She grips it tighter, grounding herself. She will not go down without a fight. She moves deeper into the room and finds a control panel for the building utilities. Pipes, water flow, pressure, valves, everything is here. She glances over her shoulder as boots hit the floor behind her. The intruder drops into the room. Sarah acts fast. She twists a valve with all her strength. Pressure builds in the pipes, making them rattle. The intruder steps forward. Sarah spins around, eyes locked on his. No more running. This is survival now. Asterisk water sprays from a cracked pipe and bursts across the floor. The intruder does not flinch. He walks toward Sarah with calm, measured steps, as if he knows this will end exactly how he planned. He wears all black, but it is not his clothes that chill her, it is the stillness of his body. The way he moves without emotion. There is no rush, no rage, only purpose. He came here for her, and he is willing to wait. Sarah tightens her grip on the wrench. Her heart pounds, but her eyes stay locked on him. Fear is still there, but something else is growing behind its resolve. "You don't have to do this," she says, her voice steady. "You can walk away." The intruder says nothing. Instead, he reaches into his coat and pulls out a small metal device. He presses a button. Somewhere deep in the building, something clicks. Then, a slow, steady beeping begins. Not loud, not urgent, but threatening. Sarah knows that sound. A timed device. He didn't just come for her. He came to blow the building apart. "You set a bomb," she says under her breath. He finally speaks. His voice is low and distorted by a vocal modulator. "Insurance." Sarah realizes the truth. He is not here to scare her. He is here to erase something. Or someone. She shifts her stance, keeping her distance. "Why me?" He takes a step closer. "You looked too close." Too close to what? A case? A victim? A suspect? Her mind races through every investigation from the last month. A dozen possibilities flash through her mind. But she doesn't have time to solve that now. Outside the building, Hudson's car screeches to a stop. The power outage has locked the main entrance. He tries his access card dead. He pounds on the door in frustration. Rex growls, pulling toward another path around the building. Hudson trusts him and follows. Rex leads him toward a side service tunnel, barking sharply at a ventilation grate. Hudson pries it open and climbs in. Rex follows without hesitation. Back in the maintenance room, Sarah circles the intruder, trying to read him. His movements are controlled, too precise. Military background? Tactical training? Whoever hired him picked someone who doesn't make mistakes. She needs information. She needs time. She needs a plan. Her eyes land on the glowing emergency override switch beside the exit door. If she can reach it, she can unlock a path to another level of the building. She feigns a step back, then hurls the wrench across the room. It hits a hanging chain and sends it crashing into a shelf. The intruder turns his head at the noise just long enough. Sarah runs. She slams the switch with her palm. Sirens blare as metal doors across the building begin unlocking. She throws herself through the exit and into the stairwell. The metal door slams shut behind her. She leans into it, out of breath, then ducks just in time as a combat knife buries itself into the door an inch from her head. He is still coming. She races up the stairs, taking them two at a time, ignoring the pain in her ribs. She hears heavy footsteps below, faster than before. He is angry now. He will not hold back. She bursts through another door and finds herself in a generator room. The walls vibrate with the thrum of power. The room is full of shadows and machinery. She slips behind a generator and listens for movement. Silence. Too much silence. She holds her breath. The beeping from the bomb echoes faintly through the vents. Time is slipping away. Then she hears its low, deliberate footsteps entering the room. He is here. Lou and Amy stand together, greeting friends and neighbors. Their words are polite, but their hearts are somewhere far away. Jack stays close, steady as always, a silent anchor for the family. The funeral may be over, but the hardest part of grief is what comes next. What happens after everyone goes home and the world expects you to return to normal, just when it seems the day is coming to a close? Clint, an old friend who once worked with Tim at rodeo youth programs, approaches Jack. His expression is uneasy. As if he has been holding on to something he isn't sure how to say, Clint begins, pulling an envelope from his coat. Tim asked me to give this to you, if anything ever happened to him. Jack looks at the envelope, stunned. It is sealed. Tim's name scribbled across the front in rough handwriting. For a long moment, Jack does not move. He doesn't want this. He doesn't want a final message from Tim because that means accepting he's really gone. What is it? Amy asks, stepping forward. Clint shakes his head. I don't know. He just said it was important. Said it wasn't for anyone else to see until, well. Now, Jack takes the envelope, staring at it like it might shatter in his hands. Lou watches, tense. Amy gently places her hand on Jack's arm. You should open it. Jack nods once and carefully breaks the seal. Inside is a handwritten letter and a small folded document. Jack begins to read, his eyes moving slowly over the words. With every line, his face changes sadness, regret, then something else. Confusion, worry. What does it say? Lou asks. Jack doesn't answer right away. He reads the letter again, as if trying to make sense of it. Then he looks up at Amy and Lou, voice unsteady. It's from Tim, he says softly. But this isn't just a goodbye. Amy feels her chest tighten. Then what is it? Jack holds out the letter. He left us something, and he wants us to find it. Lou frowns. Find what? Jack opens the folded document. It is a land DIDA legal paper, stamped and signed. But the name on the deed makes everyone freeze. Why does Dad have a deed to land in Montana? Lou asks. Jack shakes his head. He bought it months ago. Amy steps closer, reading over Jack's shoulder. But why didn't he tell us? Jack holds up the last page of the letter. There are only 5 words written there, underlined twice in Tim's handwriting. The truth is out there. Silence stretches between them. A cold breeze cuts through the open chapel doors. The truth about what? Amy whispers. Before Jack can answer, Caleb walks in, face pale. He looks straight at Amy. You all need to come outside, he says. Now. Something in his voice chills the room. Jack folds the letter and slips it into his pocket. Amy and Lou exchange a worried glance before following. Caleb out the door. What they see waiting outside is something none of them expecto. Man leaning against a truck near the road. A stranger. Watching them. Waiting. When he lifts his head, the shock hits Amy and Lou like a storm. Jack's jaw tightens. Caleb finally speaks. He says, he knew Tim. And just like that, Tim's death is no longer just tragedy. It becomes a mystery. A mystery that could change everything the Heartland family thought they knew. Asterisk. The cold wind sweeps across the parking lot outside the chapel as Amy, Lou, Jack, and Caleb step toward the mysterious stranger. He doesn't move, doesn't speak. He just watches them with a calm, unreadable expression. He is tall, maybe in his late 40s, dressed in worn jeans and a dark jacket. The kind of man you might see at a rodeo or a ranch, rough around the edges, but controlled. There is something familiar about him, but none of them can place it. Jack is the first to speak. You knew Tim? His tone is steady, but there's a warning underneath it. Jack protects his family like a wolf protects its den. The stranger nods once. Yeah, I knew him. Amy steps forward, eyes searching his face. Who are you? He hesitates a moment before answering. Name's Cole Turner. The name hangs in the air, but it means nothing to anyone. Lou glances at Amy, confused. Caleb watches carefully, his body tense beside them. Jack narrows his eyes. Never heard of you? Cole gives a slow nod. You wouldn't have. Tim wanted it that way. Amy stiffens. Why? He takes a breath and looks at the mountains, like he's deciding how much to say. When he finally speaks, his voice carries a quiet storm. Tim and I worked together years ago, long before he came back to Heartland. Back when he was still trying to figure out who he was. Lou crosses her arms. So what does that have to do with now? Why show up today, of all days? Cole looks at her, and for the first time his expression softens. Because he asked me to. Jack frowns. He asked you to come here? When? Cole glances back at his truck, the weight of the answer heavy on his shoulders. A few months ago, he said if anything ever happened to him, I'd know when to come, and I'd know what to bring. Amy's heart sinks. What do you mean, bring? Cole reaches into his jacket and pulls out a small leather notebook, worn and weathered from years of use. He holds it out, but not to Jack, not to Lou. He offers it directly to Amy. This belongs to you, says. Amy hesitates, then slowly takes it from his hand. The second her fingers touch the leather, she knows. This was Tim's. She recognizes the feel of it, like the lasso rope he used to hold while teaching her to ride. She opens it carefully. Inside are pages filled with Tim's handwriting. Notes, dates, names, places, secrets. Her voice shakes. What is this? Cole watches her, unreadable. The truth. Jack steps in, voice sharp. Truth about what? Cole doesn't blink. About why Tim bought that land. About who he really was. About what he was trying to protect. Lou frowns, confused. Protect from what? Or who? Cole studies the family for a moment, then says something that makes all of them freeze. He didn't tell you, did he? Amy looks up slowly. Tell us what? Cole's voice drops. Tim wasn't planning to retire. He wasn't slowing down. He was preparing for something. Something big. Something dangerous. The air tightens around them. A quiet fear settles in Amy's stomach, heavy and cold. Jack steps closer. What are you saying? Cole meets his gaze. I'm saying Tim didn't just die in an accident. He pauses. I'm saying I'm not sure it was an accident at all. The wind hits harder now, but no one moves. The funeral is over, but their story with Tim is not. And as Amy clutches the notebook to her chest, she understands one thing clearly. This is only the beginning. Asterisk. Amy sits alone in the loft above the barn, holding the notebook Cole gave her. She has been staring at it for nearly an hour, afraid to open it. Her hands are cold, her mind racing. Why did her dad keep something like this from her? What was he involved in? What was he trying to protect? Outside, the wind rattles the barn doors. Night has fallen over the ranch, and only a single lamp lights the loft. It feels like she is standing on the edge of something she cannot see yet, but can feel. Something big. Finally, she takes a breath and opens the notebook. The first page is simple. It isn't a journal entry or a list. It is just one line written in Tim's rough handwriting. If you're reading this, it means I ran out of time. Amy's chest tightens. She turns the page. The next section is a mix of short messages, thoughts, regrets, fragments of a man who never shared enough of himself. I should have told you the truth sooner. This isn't about me. It's about keeping my family safe. Trust Jack. He'll know what to do. She flips through more pages. Some are filled with names people she doesn't recognize. Some are scribbled with directions, dates, phone numbers. Then she sees something that makes her stop. Montana safe site. 14 Ridge Creek Road. Safe site. Safe from what? Her heartbeat quickens. She glances toward the barn window, half expecting someone to be watching her. Everything about this feels wrong. This doesn't sound like the Tim she knew. This sounds like someone preparing for a fight. The next page is torn, edges ripped. Only part of the message remains. If anything happens to me, don't. The rest is missing. Amy flips faster now. Near the middle of the notebook, she finds a page that shocks her. A photo. It is old and faded, tucked between the pages. The picture shows Tim standing next to a younger version of Cole Turner. They are on a dusty ranch somewhere, wearing cowboy hats and smiling like brothers. But that isn't what grabs Amy's attention. The real shock is the person standing between them. Girl not much older than 15. Brown hair tied back, a horse behind her. She doesn't look familiar, but the caption under the photo sends a chill down Amy's spine. Keep her safe. She doesn't know. Amy stares at the picture, frozen. Who is the girl? And what doesn't she know? Her mind spins. Was this girl someone Tim was helping? Protecting? Was this why he bought the land in Montana? Why he kept secrets? Why he wrote a letter and hid a notebook? She doesn't hear footsteps coming up the ladder until someone speaks behind her. Amy? She jumps, slamming the notebook shut. Lou stands there, watching her. What are you doing up here? Lou asks gently. Amy hesitates. She wants to tell Lou everything, but something makes her stop. Maybe fear. Maybe instinct. Maybe the fact that she still doesn't trust the stranger who appeared at the funeral. Maybe she isn't even sure she trusts the truth yet. I'm just thinking, Amy says. Lou walks closer. About Dad? Amy nods, keeping the notebook close. Lou sits beside her. For a moment, they are silent. You ever feel like we didn't really know him? Lou asks. Amy looks at her. She knows Lou isn't talking about secrets. She is talking about regrets, missed chances, old pain. Yeah, Amy says softly. All the time. Lou sighs and places a hand over Amy's. Whatever comes next, we handle it together. Promise me that.